Hours ago, we heard from police following dozens of arrests in downtown. Officers say while things were mostly peaceful for the 4th of July holiday, police took about 60 people into custody, including dozens of juveniles. Their parents were also cited. Some of the charges involved guns and illegal fireworks. Police increased patrols for the holiday weekend after several years of lawlessness downtown.
You see the Don Julio? That's a sign. That means don't come here. It's hood, it's ghetto. People been drinking. You combine that with the guns and the fireworks, and things is bound to go negative. Throwing a couple women on top of that, it's over.
Patrols for the holiday weekend after several years of lawlessness downtown.
Juveniles will come down. They'll come down with fireworks in groups, but we're not going to have that anymore. We're going to hold the guardians and the parents accountable to the individuals that are coming down that are being dropped off in large numbers. I'm saying hundreds.
Yo, listen, they not playing no games no more. They not. When I first started to see it play out big time, like on a larger scale, I seen it in Miami. And people were getting mad and they were saying, oh man, spring break is over. I can't believe that Miami don't want our money. No, Miami don't want your money. Not on spring break. They left themselves open when the pandemic was hitting it because, everything else was closed and nobody was getting it in and everybody was being quiet. But now I'm starting to see it on a larger scale. When I seen what happened in Indianapolis with all of those people that got shot and all of that, and the police chief kind of went off on black culture, and he basically said, listen, it's the parents' fault that we got these monsters out here that we chasing all night, and you can't convince them because eventually they're going to try to kill each other. And this is one of the reasons why you see the tragedy happen the way that it is. You've seen what happened over in Chicago. In Chicago, as of right now, the tally is up to 44 people that has been shot, 60 fatally. And so these cities are tired of using their resources. It's taking manpower, hours, police, jail, and they're tired of the culture coming down and drinking and tearing up and bringing their own fireworks and stuff getting on fire and stuff getting destroyed and people's cars getting stomped on and stolen and all of this stuff. And so now these police chiefs are starting to say, listen, not only do we not want y'all down here if you are not supervised, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that because these kids is out here out of control by themselves anyway. Not only are they saying, listen, we don't want y'all out here without the kids being supervised, but they're also saying if your kids are unsupervised and they getting caught up and we arrest them, because he didn't say they was just out here like loitering. He said that they was out there with guns and illegal fireworks and all of this stuff. And he said, we're going to hold the parents accountable now. And they do need to be held accountable because the children don't become bad on their own. They become bad because of the people that have them, the single mothers that raise them. And of course, we're gonna get into, well, it's the father's fault. No, you chose the person that you wanted to have kids with out of wedlock. And so now children that are raised out of wedlock often at times find themselves in these same type of positions to where we having these same conversations, and you're gonna see a whole lot of police markers on the ground from all of the shootings and the killings and all of this stuff. And so I'm glad that St. Louis was proactive in making sure that they prevented people and they arrested people. And they probably saved their lives as a result of it. You get to live another day because they didn't let your kids put on the Pooh Shiesty mask or get into a confrontation and then it turns negative. When I see large gatherings, as Brandon Johnson likes to dictate, when I see large gatherings, I tend to try to avoid them, unless you're talking about a playoff game or something like that. Anything that has a metal detector or where they can go and ensure more safety. Unless I see that, I don't want to be bothered with it. I tend to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a certain element of the culture that continues to perpetuate the majority of the crime, and we don't want to hold them accountable. We don't want to tell them who they are. We don't want them to be honest. And so we keep gaslighting, acting like it's the system's fault, it's the people's fault, it's no parent's fault, it's nobody's fault except for the people that um, is trying to chase down the criminals. It's the police officer's fault for over policing and not the parents' fault for their children committing the crimes. And it's not even just limited to the parents, it's also grown folks, 20, 30. I even see it in the comments of people saying, yo, yeah, it's up from now. Nobody want to hear that shit. We trying to have a good time. Back in the day, it used to be about going to get the hose and trying to figure out where you can go get some box or something like that and get some money. All of this new stuff, I don't know where it come from.
Tonight and tomorrow, police say they will continue to have a strong presence downtown. And chaos erupted in some parts of downtown last night as illegal fireworks lit up more than just the sky. The fire department tells us they responded to hundreds of calls over the last few days. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings caught up with neighbors reflecting on a night they say got out of hand.
Flames erupting from a dumpster captured by a resident who had a front row seat from their apartment on Washington Avenue. Meanwhile, fireworks lit up the sky and the streets. Dozens of people, many of them teens, detained, and parents facing citations for illegal firework activity.
People need to get their kids, period. Get your kids.
While some were part of the problem, others were just here to enjoy the show. Daria Palmer took in the lights under the arch.
It was real nice. They did that big one.
They did their big one? Black women can't wait to be hood, can't they? They did their big one.
I seen Superman. Was not expecting that. I said, okay, the budget is big this year.
But she didn't stay out too long.
I was outside for a bit. You know how St. Louis is, so I was like, I don't want to be a victim.
And that's sad. That is very sad. And she's smart. Because ghetto as she is, she's smart. It's sad that she said, I was only outside for a second. Because you can't even just go outside and watch fireworks no more. She said, I was outside for a second, but I didn't want to be a victim. Let me play it again for the people in the back.
You know how St. Louis is, so I was like, I don't want to be a victim.
That is so sad, y'all. It is sad that we live in America and there are certain communities and cultures, and I'm going to just call it out for what it is. The ones that voted at a 92% and 78% clip, that you got to be scared of. You got to be scared of. And I've always said that before we ever even, and I'm not going to even mince no words, before we even have a conversation about fixing, requiring, holding other people accountable and all this other type of stuff, yo, you got to be more scared of people that look like you if you look like them. And that is a bigger issue than anything that anybody could say that is the biggest issue across the board. You got to be more scared of people that look like you than people not looking like you.
So I just went home.
St. Louis police say they received 341 calls as it relates to fireworks from 5 o'clock on the 4th of July all the way up until 3:30 this morning. In the aftermath, hard to miss.
There was still a lot of leftovers, especially on Tucker and around, and I went for a run this morning as well, so there was a lot of in the smaller streets. There was leftovers on the street that they didn't.
Don't even throw their trash away. You can go into other countries like Tokyo, Japan, and they don't even have trash cans on the street. You're expected to keep the trash with you and then find a receptacle when you get home.
Despite their love for the city, residents like Candera and Yagio Raffaelli says this kind of disorder shouldn't be normal.
It's upsetting. It's happening a lot, but it's what it is.
Weekend.
Yeah.
It's actually happening quite often. And I know some people say, you're living downtown, you should, expect it, accept it, and we would love for it to be a little bit less.
And while police had a stronger presence this year, some say it's time for stronger policy and permanent solutions.
I feel like they need to put a law in place, though. Just like I think Delmar had a curfew, needs to be a curfew because that stops downtown from having businesses. Like, we got, so much potential down here, and we keep losing it because of...
Yeah, and they do. I agree with her.
Businesses.
I agree with her
got,
100%. St. Louis is one of the places that's on my list of places to go and visit because I hear that people, the YNs, keep ruining it, which makes it much more attractive from an investment perspective because there's opportunity where the market is depressed itself. But neither here nor there. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T-Channel, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.